Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Fast Lane, live on the WWE Network. The opening segment brings us outside as we see a limo pull up backstage, and the announcers immediately question who's in the back seat, who is in the limo. But before we can find out who's inside, we come in the arena to JBL, Jerry Lawler, and Michael Cole in the announce position. They welcome us to Fast Lane, live on the WWE Network. And live on the WWE Network, and they talk about the main event tonight: John Cena versus Seth Rollins for the in a steel cage match, where if Seth Rollins wins, the Authority is back in power, but if John Cena wins, the Authority remains out of power. And now we move to the next segment. The next segment is the pay-per-view debut of Kevin Owens, top prospect from NXT. We move on to the next contest. With Kevin Owens against Eric Rowan in the opening match, and Kevin Owens gets the win. Kevin Owens wins in his pay-per-view debut. Now we move backstage with the Miz and Mizdow. Miz basically tells Mizdow that as his personal assistant, he's supposed to have the Miz's back. Tonight, he proves it. He proves what he can do for the Miz, because if they come up short tonight, then Mizdow is fired, and Mizdow can go back to scraping the bottom of the barrel where he belongs. Says the Miz. Now we move on. Nikki is getting interviewed by Renee Young, and Nikki says that AJ and all the other divas are delusional. They are delusional because they believe that they're on the same level as the Bellas, when nobody is on the same level as Nikki and Bray. Nikki and Bray are the measuring stick of the division, and the only reason why the Divas division is where it is. And Nikki continues to say, I don't care who wins, Natalya versus AJ. Either way, I get my title shot. AJ wins, successfully defending her title against Natalya, but then the Bellas run out and attack AJ from behind, leaving her laying down in the ring, and the Bellas celebrate as they continue to beat down AJ. But then Paige runs in and saves AJ from a serious beating and runs off the Bellas. Now we move on to the next match. The Usos against Luke Harper and Justin Gabriel. This match, though on pay-per-view, still has one design factor, and that is this: to set up the next part of the Usos versus the Dudley Boyz. The Dudleys try and run out and attack the Usos, but that doesn't work. The Usos see it coming and sidestep the Dudleys, sending the Dudleys packing back up the rampway. As the Usos get the better of the Dudleys this time around, but this feud between one of the greatest tag teams in the world and the Usos are far, far from over. And now we move to the next segment, backstage, Dolph Ziggler with Renee Young. And Renee Young asks Dolph, John Cena has brought up his change of attitude from how he was 6 months ago. And she asks Dolph, does he believe that his attitude has changed? And Dolph says, no. My attitude hasn't changed a bit. It's that people can't accept the fact that not everybody is nice. Not everybody walks around with a smile on their face, afraid of offending someone. Daniel Bryan thinks he deserves everything. He thinks that everything should be handed to him on a silver platter just because he missed 5 months, half a year last year. Just because he never got his his rematch. Well, Daniel, this is the WWE. You were gone and your spot was taken. Get over it. You lost your spot, now you gotta go to the back of the line and earn it again. And tonight, you gotta go through the Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler. And I will prove why I am the best damn performer in this company. Now we move on to the Authority mapping out their plans for later tonight and mapping out what their first thing they're going to do is when the Authority gets back in power after Seth is victorious tonight. Now, the following match happens with the Miz and Mizdow against Cesaro and Christian. Cesaro and Christian win by disqualification as the Miz can't contain himself and gets disqualified. But Miz blames Mizdow for getting counted out. He didn't know, and Mizdow should have helped him, but he didn't. And Miz and Mizdow, the tension is increasing. And now Stardust is in the ring, and Stardust calls out my apologies. Stardust calls out his brother, but there's no answer. Stardust calls out Goldust, but there's no answer. And then we move on. Goldust does come out, but it isn't Goldust, it's Dustin. Dustin comes out, stands face to face, eye to eye, with his brother, Cody. Dustin says, Cody, this isn't Goldust and Stardust, this is Dustin and Cody. I realize that it was hard when we lost the tag team titles. But if there's a problem between us, Cody, we're close enough where we can iron it out, man to man. But every time Dustin says Cody, his brother puts his hands over his ears and he doesn't hear it. And he doesn't listen to him. As Goldust persists and continues to say go Cody to try and continue to get his brother's attention, Stardust continues to ignore him with his hands over his ears, so much so that Stardust actually walks out of the ring and leaves the ring, leaving his brother jaw agaped and wondering what was going on. What's going on? Where's his brother? Why is Stardust acting the way he is when Goldust says Cody? Now we move to the history package highlighting the history between Ryback and Rusev. And then in a match. And then we go to the match. I gotta say, a disappointing match, but Rusev wins and keeps his undefeated streak, dispatching Ryback, and Rusev successfully defends the United States title. But then Lana continues to rip into the United States after Lana says something to the effect of, "You see, Rusev, the hero of the Russian Federation, just proved why all you people, surround yourself with failures, with losers, and with athletes far less superior than those in Russia. Rusev proved yet again why he is better than anybody that you Americans can throw at him. Rusev proved that he will crush any competition you Americans have. You have no heroes left. Rusev has crushed them all." But then we go to the Titantron, the limousine, and the camera is backstage. The limo opens backstage in the parking lot, and somebody steps out. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle steps out. Goosebumps are on the people in the audience. Goosebumps are visibly on Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle, like the Dudley Boyz before him, has not been in the WWE in almost 10 years. But Angle is back in WWE. And the place, the Staples Center in Los Angeles, the roof blows off the place when Kurt Angle makes his entrance. Rusev and Lana look like they see a ghost, because the Olympic hero, the American hero, Kurt Angle, is back in the WWE. And then Rusev and Angle exchange glances in a heated confrontation, so much so you could feel the tension in the room with a knife. You could cut the tension in the room with a knife. The surprise of the decade, Angle is back in the WWE after almost 10 years away. Now we move to the next match, Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler reach a draw in one of the best matches people have seen in quite a long time. A back and forth nail biter to the very end, but when they reached the 20-minute time limit, everybody was disappointed it ended, and Dolph and Daniel were frustrated. Both of them were frustrated that they couldn't get it done within the time limit. But either way, it ended with a draw. Now we move on, and Bray Wyatt is walking out. He's cutting his promo like the last month and a half. Like the last month, rather. Or actually a couple weeks. I would let Bray write his own promo, and all I would do is approve it. That's it. That's it. I would just approve it. But now, tonight, is when Bray makes it clear. WrestleMania, he is challenging The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and Bray is not looking to beat the streak. He's looking to retire The Undertaker. He puts out the challenge, and he would probably say something to the effect of what he said actually at Fast Lane when he laid out the challenge of to The Undertaker. But a little thing comes out. That little thing is a casket. And Bray says, "Tonight, I am laying out the challenge, Undertaker. I want you in this ring, one-on-one, in the match you helped create, and the match you made famous. Taker, I want you in a casket match at WrestleMania. You didn't see that coming now, did you? Now, we move to the history package. The time for talking is over between Cena and Seth Rollins. No interviews, no backstage talks between Cena and Seth Rollins. With Cena and Seth Rollins, no interviews, no talking. The time for talking is over. The match is underway. Seth Rollins, Cena, the history package goes back to Survivor Series, to weeks before Survivor Series, when the Authority offered Cena a spot in the group. And then it touches on Survivor Series, and it touches on everything that has happened since then. And now, 5 months later, everything comes to a head. 4 months later, 4 months later, everything comes to a head tonight inside of a 15-foot high steel cage. And Seth Rollins gets the win in this contest against John Cena. Why? Because you would never see it coming. And I have a story for Cena going into WrestleMania. And I have a story for Rollins. Rollins needed to win more, because we move right to Seth Rollins celebrating the Authority coming back in power. Yes, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are back in power with that win from Seth Rollins. But also, he made his return. Officially, from out of nowhere, Randy Orton makes his return after 4 months on the shelf, being taken out by the Authority a couple weeks before Survivor Series back in November, and has been playing mind games with Rollins since the Royal Rumble. And now Randy Orton is back in the WWE and hits Rollins with an RKO as the show goes to black, with Randy Orton posing and everybody going crazy. And now we move to see what we got. Boys and girls, a solid pay-per-view. The last leg on the road to WrestleMania. I also apologize, as you could see, it's not Fast Lane. I changed the name to One Night Only, because a pay-per-view like this only comes around one night only. Fact of the matter is, I like this pay-per-view as one of the best pay-per-views I've done. Ever in this game. WrestleMania is next. We have about a month and a week before I hit up the grandest stage of them all. This How I Would Book It series edition ends the night after WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania. It ends. It will come to a close. Boys and girls, the road to WrestleMania ain't over yet. It's just getting good. Till next time, hope you enjoyed the last pay-per-view on the road to WrestleMania. Things are just getting started. Till next time.